House video series on 2S LGBTQI family planning. I'm Aruna Boudram, and I'll be your host as we discuss family planning and assisted reproductive technologies for 2S LGBTQI communities in the Ontario context. In this episode, we'll be discussing these questions around adoption. B asks, I am a single queer non-binary person who would like to explore starting a family on my own through adoption or fostering. Am I eligible as a single queer person? If so, what all should I keep in mind if I decide to go this route? Adoption and fostering are complex and beautiful parenting journeys that many 2S LGBTQI families decide to take. Although there are lots of types of adoption, each one with their own prices, rules, and processes, in this video, we will mostly focus on the public process for adoption and fostering, since it is the most common and accessible route for 2S LGBTQI communities. We'll also talk about some of the considerations around adoptions and foster care involving Indigenous children that you should keep in mind. To answer B's question around public adoption and fostering in Ontario, we need to first understand three things. What are adoption and fostering? Who can adopt or foster? And what is the process for becoming eligible to adopt or foster? Before I unpack each of these, I want to take note that I will be talking about these issues within the context of Ontario law. Laws around parental rights do vary across Canada, so it's important that you speak to a lawyer sensitive to 2S LGBTQI family needs regarding the laws that apply in your province or territory. First up, what is adoption and fostering? Adoption is the permanent legal transfer of all parental rights from one person or persons to another person or persons. Adoptive parents have the same rights and responsibilities as biological parents, and adopted children have all of the emotional, social, legal, and kinship benefits as biological children. By contrast, fostering provides temporary, safe, caring, and stable homes that support the child's development. Foster parents do not have legal rights over the child, and you as a foster parent are part of a child welfare team that includes Children's Aid Society staff, volunteers, health professionals, and the family of origin who the children may still be in contact with. The children in foster care situations come from diverse backgrounds and have often experienced very traumatic processes of being taken away from their families of origin. They can be in your care for a long or short amount of time, depending on their family situation and your availability to foster them. The option of fostering to adopt is also sometimes available. Many families appreciate this option since it allows the child and the parent or parents to get to know one another before permanently adopting them. Here's where we can dive specifically into these questions. Who can adopt or foster? There is often a shortage of adults and families who want to support and care for foster children. To combat this, agencies regularly reach out to diverse communities to seek out more non-white parents, including parents from the 2S LGBTQI communities. In fact, Ontario has supported adoption by 2S LGBTQI people since 1995. It is important to note that neither marital status nor income level impact a person's eligibility to adopt. Though, if you have more than 2 children in your care, they may require you to consider your ability to support an additional child by yourself financially or otherwise. If the child has special or particular needs that cannot be met with just one parent, that will also be a factor. In the case of fostering, you do receive a small per diem to cover the costs of caring for the child, but that cannot be your sole base of income. The gender and sexuality of the parent or parents are also not considered a negative when it comes to adoption or fostering in Ontario. Many CAS organizations view our communities as resilient and having the tools to cope with the difficulties that foster and adoptive children are dealing with. This said, if you do encounter a situation in which you feel that your gender or sexuality is impacting your success in adopting or fostering a child, it is important that you bring that issue forward as soon as possible and to consult a lawyer familiar with the needs and experiences of the 2S LGBTQI families. To become eligible to foster or adopt a child, you must complete a SAFE home study, which involves submitting a written report and collateral documents. You will also be required to be interviewed by an adoption practitioner. This only needs to be done once in the process, but any documents that expire may need to be renewed or updated. You also must take the PRIDE or PRIDE education and informational course, which costs about $800 for a single person or $1,600 for a couple. I provided links for more information on both the Safe Home Study and PRIDE education course in the description below. Once you have completed these trainings and have demonstrated you have a home, room, and space that is child ready, you will be put on a waiting list. Wait times can range from a few weeks to several months, and your responses to questions in your application and interview can influence these times. For more detailed information on the process, contact your local CAS and adoption services to speak to someone about your options. Two other types of adoption are also worth briefly noting: international and private adoptions. Those are separate topics entirely, but if you're thinking about either one of those routes, you should note a few things. First, international adoptions are not allowed for 2S LGBTQI people, with the exception of adoptions from the USA. Private adoptions happen through private organizations, so it is best to consult directly with each organization to assess their compatibility with your family. Costs for both these options vary, but can range as high as $50,000 in some cases. So that's definitely something to bear in mind if you're considering one of these options. We must also consider the latest discoveries of ongoing colonial genocide of Indigenous communities in Canada and think about our role in how we welcome and nurture the children in our lives if they come to us through this parenthood path. Adoption has and continues to be a way for the Canadian government to separate Indigenous children from their families, communities, languages, and cultures. With residential schools, the 60 Scoop, and now the Millennial Scoop, we must be critical of how these children come into being in care and how we can advocate for supporting Indigenous families and communities long-term. In addition, there is a disproportionate amount of Black and Indigenous children in care. This is a result of racist policies and practices within the family services sector. We believe that every child matters and urge you to support the children in care to maintain cultural integrity and connection to their communities. To recap, adoption and fostering are rife with a complicated history, but there are many children still in care that deserve a loving and safe environment, either as their forever home or while they wait to go back to their families of origin. 2S LGBTQI people are welcomed and are able to pursue this path to parenthood and are encouraged to start the process. The costs are minimal, but you do have to be able to sustain and provide for both you and the child, as you would in any parenting situation. The law is clear that discrimination based on someone's gender expression, and sexual orientation is not allowed. 2S LGBTQI people have all the same rights to assisted reproduction technologies and their parental rights as anyone else. However, 2S LGBTQI people may still unexpectedly encounter barriers in their family planning journey because of their identity. For this reason, it is critical that you engage a family or fertility lawyer who is sensitive to 2S LGBTQI identities and experiences. For more information and videos covering your questions related to 2S LGBTQI family planning through assisted reproduction, visit our program website at the link in the description below. And don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel on YouTube and follow us at EGAL Canada on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn.